Oklahoma FFA is unusual. Across Oklahoma, roadside signs mark the entrance to towns and communities, welcoming travelers and celebrating the people and achievements that define each place. But in Oklahoma, many communities proudly display signs from local FFA chapters, welcoming visitors or recognizing hometown members who've earned distinction through FFA. When you drive into an Oklahoma town, it becomes clear that FFA chapters are not just school organizations. They're a vital part of the community, and in turn, a vital part of our state. And while that may seem unusual elsewhere, it's not unusual in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, FFA members are celebrated. In some cases, they become local, state, and national heroes. Stories of their accomplishments in FFA and agriculture are passed down to future generations. Chapters remember the triumphs of members who came before them. They take pride in their livestock they show and honor past champions. They remember the speeches that were delivered. People still say, "There was a state FFA officer who came to my school and inspired me." Others recall, "FFA camp was a turning point in my life." Other states celebrate FFA accomplishments, but it's different here. It's unusual. FFA is often called the rising sun in agriculture. But in Oklahoma, the sun never sets on the impact of 100 years of members who've gone before. Oklahoma FFA is unusual, and that's a good thing. I believe in the future of agriculture, with a faith born not of words, but of deeds. Those words have been spoken by generations of young people across Oklahoma. But long before they were memorized in classrooms, they were lived out in fields, barns, and schoolhouses across the state. In the early 1900s, farm boys in Oklahoma were known as Aggies. They were students learning not only how to farm, but how to lead. After World War I, they began forming clubs, organizing contests, holding livestock shows, and challenging one another to become better stewards of the land. Their movement was fueled by a national commitment to agricultural education. In 1917, Congress passed the Smith-Hughes Act, creating vocational agriculture programs in public schools. Oklahoma embraced it fully. By the 1920s, thousands of students across the state were enrolled in agriculture classes and building projects that earned real income and real responsibility. But something bigger was happening. In 1926, student agriculture clubs gathered at the Oklahoma State Fair to form a statewide organization called the Farm Boys Country Life Achievement Club. The following year, on May 6, 1927, during the interscholastic meet at Oklahoma A&M College, students from 15 schools officially formed the Future Farmers of Oklahoma. The first state officers were elected. The first president was Ralph Runnels of Claremore. Later that same year, Oklahoma became a charter member of the newly formed Future Farmers of America. The state FFA office was located in Old Central at Oklahoma A&M College. Oklahoma's organization quickly grew. Chapters formed across the state. Members published newsletters, debated best farming practices, and built savings accounts. The state association even raised money and purchased a campsite on the Illinois River near Watts in Adair County. The very first Oklahoma FFA camp was held in 1930. What began as a few clubs of farm boys became a movement. And a century later, Oklahoma FFA still stands as proof that the future is built not by words alone, but by deeds. As Oklahoma's young FFA organization began to grow, powerful forces threatened to wipe it away almost as quickly as it had begun. The year was 1930. The Great Depression had arrived. Crop prices collapsed. Drought scorched the plains. Schools closed. Programs disappeared. In just 2 years, nearly half of Oklahoma's vocational agriculture departments shut their doors. What had been a promising movement now faced the very real possibility of extinction. But in moments of crisis, leaders often emerge. In 1931, a young man from Guyman named C. Vernon Howell was elected a state officer. 1 year later, at just 20 years old, he became national president of the Future Farmers of America, Oklahoma's first national officer. Born in a dugout home on the Oklahoma plains, Howell understood hardship. And in the middle of the Depression, he spoke with a maturity beyond his years. He reminded members across the nation that success required cooperation, that leadership demanded work, and that true purpose was found in service to others. While Howell inspired from the national stage, another leader was shaping the future of Oklahoma FFA behind the scenes. His name was J.B. Perky. By 1931, Perky became a state advisor. Tall, commanding, and unwavering in expectations, Perky believed deeply that agricultural education should produce not only skilled students, but community leaders. Under his leadership, standards were high, accountability was real, and the expectation was clear. FFA advisors were to be leaders in their schools, their towns, and their profession. At the same time, others were strengthening the foundation of the organization. Minnie Irwin, Oklahoma's first executive secretary, became known as the caretaker of the boys she served. Roy Stewart and later Ed Lemons used journalism and storytelling to elevate Oklahoma FFA's reputation nationwide. Their work helped Oklahoma earn its first National Star Farmer and helped raise the funds to build the first permanent FFA building at the Oklahoma State Fairgrounds. The organization that nearly disappeared in the 1930s had survived, not by accident, but because of leadership, because of resilience, because of faith lived through action. The Oklahoma FFA had endured the storm, and it was just getting started. Oklahoma's FFA chapters had survived the Great Depression. Farms failed, programs closed. But as the 1930s came to an end, the organization was growing again. Membership was rising, and new departments were opening. Boys worked on their projects, saved their earnings, and chased the state's highest honor, the Junior Master Farmer degree, a recognition that required real investment, strong grades, and proven leadership. By 1940, the Oklahoma FFA convention set a record, nearly 2,900 in attendance. For most of those young men, the war in Europe still felt distant, a conflict on another continent. Then came December 7th, 1941. When Oklahoma FFA members opened their magazine the next year, the headlines had changed. The organization set a bold goal: $50,000 in defense bonds. VOAG shops opened around the clock so farmers could repair equipment and keep food production moving. Chapters collected scrap metal. They fixed tractors, cultivators, harvesters, anything that could help feed a nation at war. The FFA camp at Watts was also closed during the war. Resources were simply too precious to be spent sending members to camp. In towns across Oklahoma, FFA became part of the home front. But the war wasn't just something members read about. It came for classmates, teachers, and state leaders. FFA members left school early to enlist. Advisors left the classroom for service. Conventions shrank. Travel was restricted. And in chapter after chapter, names were added to lists of those serving, and sometimes those lost. Still, the organization endured. For young men like Oliver Kenzie of Cushing, it became a path all the way to the top. During the war years, with gasoline rationed and travel limited, Kenzie became National FFA President, another Oklahoma leader carrying the torch in a hard season. When the war finally ended, the sacrifice was staggering. Thousands of Oklahoma FFA members had served. Many never came home. But the spirit remained. The war had tested the organization, and it survived. Because FFA wasn't just an activity. It was a commitment to serve, to work, and to lead, even in the most trying times. Momentum was building. In Oklahoma, membership was rising, and new agriculture programs were opening. Across the nation, the trend was the same. After World War II, FFA began a decade of record-setting growth, nearly doubling national membership from the mid-1940s into the mid-1950s. Oklahoma advisors were building something strong. And it's important to remember, Oklahoma's story was never just one organization. In 1927, even as the Future Farmers of Oklahoma formed in Stillwater, Black agriculture students organized at Langston University through the New Farmers of Oklahoma, later part of the New Farmers of America. Their chapters built leaders, earned degrees, served their communities, and shaped generations, often with fewer resources, but no less determination. FFA members weren't waiting for adulthood to begin building their futures. They invested in livestock, land, and equipment, some creating profitable enterprises while still in high school, something unheard of at the time. FFA culture was expanding too. At the state fair, a new tradition emerged, the State FFA Sweetheart Competition. For many young women, it became a spotlight moment, an honor wrapped in lights, interviews, and crowds that filled the FFA building. On the national stage, Oklahoma continued producing leaders, names like Walter Cummins and Nathan Reese, young men shaped by strong advisors and strong expectations, carrying Oklahoma's voice across the country. But by the late 1960s, the organization faced a decision that would reshape its future. For decades, membership had been divided by tradition and by segregation. Then, in 1965, the NFA and FFA merged nationally, bringing blue and black corduroy jackets into one united organization. And just a few years later, in 1969, delegates voted, by the narrowest of margins, to welcome girls as full members. It wasn't an easy change. It challenged tradition. It forced chapters to adapt. But it opened the door to a new era, one that would strengthen the organization, expand opportunity, and make FFA what it was always meant to be: a home for young people ready to learn, ready to lead, and ready to build the future of agriculture in Oklahoma. The new era that began in the late 1960s did more than change membership. It strengthened the mission. Today, Oklahoma FFA continues to grow. What began as judging contests and livestock shows in the 1920s has become one of the strongest youth leadership movements in the nation, built by generations of members, advisors, and supporters who refuse to let it fade. In 1986, The Oklahoma FFA Foundation was formed to strengthen that future. Over time, it has grown into an endowment of more than $10 million, fueling opportunities for students in every corner of the state. Behind the scenes, dedicated state staff helped shape what Oklahoma FFA would become. Their work strengthened agricultural education and helped Oklahoma build one of the premier state associations in the country. In recent years, Oklahoma FFA has faced new tests. In 2020, the organization canceled the in-person state convention and did its best to host contests and events in socially distanced and virtual formats during the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the most disruptive moments in modern history. But Oklahoma FFA endured, adapted, and kept moving forward. Then, in 2025, Oklahoma's FFA story turned a new page. The Oklahoma FFA Alumni Association purchased the campgrounds for the cherished Oklahoma FFA Alumni Leadership Camp, a tradition since 1972, ensuring that a place where lives are shaped and confidence is built will continue for generations to come. This decision mirrors the original movement to purchase an FFA camp almost exactly 100 years ago. And today, the association has reached an all-time high, more than 30,000 FFA members. Oklahoma continues to shine on the national stage, earning top honors, producing national officers, and building a tradition of excellence that few can match. If Oklahoma FFA has proved anything, it's this: it can weather seasons of change and come out the other side stronger than before. The achievements and people that have influenced its story are too many to list, but each one matters. They are moments remembered for a lifetime, stories that became a legacy. FFA members, this is your organization, built by giants and carried forward by the members of today. The question now is simple: how will you contribute to its story?